According to a recent Gallup study on the American workplace, a shocking 2/3 of employees report being disengaged at work or worse. Number one best-selling author of Create Demand for Your Brand from the Inside Out, Michele Lando is here with us today, and she says that doesn't have to be. Thanks for being with us, Michele. So you're saying that these employees can be engaged at work, but it's really about finding what you're aligned to as far as your strengths and your passions. So tell me about that.
Yes, isn't that just the most heartbreaking statistic? Can you imagine 68% of the people getting up in the morning and they're not excited to go do what they're going to do all day? It breaks my heart, and I think it's tragic, and for me it's unacceptable. I think it should be unacceptable for employers. Do you really want people who aren't excited about what they're doing? I think it should be unacceptable for the individual. Like it's not okay that you're not excited to go do what you're going to do. So what do you do with that? I have two answers. One's the individual side of it, and one's the institutional side of it. On the individual side, you need to realize that you're responsible for being excited and being engaged, and you want to bring that to the workplace. It's really not up to the workplace to give you excitement. That's not what they're there to do. However, you do want to be able to bring that in. So for example, I work with a client, her name is Jennifer. She's about 30 years old in a Fortune 500 company, a financial institution. But Jennifer's taken the time to figure out, with some guidance, what her purpose is for being. By the way, we do have a purpose for being here on the planet. It's not random. Okay, when we understand what that is, it acts as our compass. It guides us to make the right choices and to figure out what that passion is that will ignite us. So with some guidance, Jennifer and I have discussed this many times, and we figured out that really what floats her boat, if you will, is making a difference in the world. So for example, she's working in an HR division of a financial company, and you think, well, how does that add up? She's responsible to help bring in team building exercises when new organizations form within. So she could have done a beer night, she could have done a bowling night, she could have done whatever, but what she did is she found a charity where they put together packages of shoes for children who don't have shoes. She brought in 30 to 60-year-old, mostly men, some women, 50 pairs of sneakers, and they sat there and hand-painted all of the sneakers.
Oh my goodness.
Packaged them up and sent them out to these kids. Can you imagine the joy those kids are going to have when they see those sneakers?
So it was a win-win. She got a lot of joy, and so did they. Well, I can't help thinking that, these kids that are heading into college soon, and then really the parents that have paid for 4 years of college, and then the kids decide they want to do something different.
So true.
They need you. We need you. I have 3 daughters myself. So tell me, why isn't this being done more with younger people, before they hit that point where they realize they're in the wrong industry?
I think the key is here, if it isn't being done, I think that's one where we can't look to the institutions to help us with that one. Schools are not set up to teach us the more pragmatic, practical aspects of some things, and I could go on a whole long list. But to answer your question, specifically, if you think about it, you have 3 girls. It's going to cost, on average, $150,000 to put each one through college. I know, frightening. I'm a UCLA Bruin. I actually teach at my rivalry school as a guest lecturer at USC. Average tuitions there are $250,000 to $350,000. I'm dealing with 21 and 22-year-olds when I go in there to speak about their own individual brand and what does that mean and what is their purpose. And they are so worried because they don't know what they want to do, and they're feeling guilty because their parents have spent so much money. The truth is, as parents, what do you want for your kids? You want them to be happy and self-sufficient. Is that true?
Absolutely,
right.
Yeah. And finish college. Yeah.
And finish college. We all want the same
Right.
things. So the interesting thing is, we don't stop to help our kids understand who they are before they get to school. Imagine if your children really understood their purpose for being, what thrills them and excites them, and then they were learning about different professions and opportunities that might come their way. How would they listen to it differently? How would they hear it differently?
Right. We're doing this backwards.
We're so backwards.
Yeah. And then often the parents aren't sure even that they're in the right field. So it's hard for them to advise. Well,
that's a great point, if I may. I can't tell you how many parents I'm coaching, not even as parents, but in financial or professional institutions that I work with. They don't know what their purpose is. So how can they possibly guide the children as to what theirs is? So it's an interesting thing when I work with companies. I'm certain that they take it home and they also work with their families. I hear about that too. So your question is really a solid one.
Yeah, I think everybody needs you, whether it be kids or parents or employers and employees. So can you tell my audience about where they can get your book, Create Demand for Your Brand?
Yes, absolutely. Please go to skillset.com. That's with one L, like Michele with one L, skillset.com, and you can get a book there. You can also go to a quick start toolkit and download free tools, 4,000 $1,000 worth of tools that I use in the large programs that I do in institutions and corporations. They're there for you for the taking. Run, don't walk. Get them for yourself, get them for your kids. Go get them.
Michele Lando, create demand for your brand. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be right back.